Hi, it's Karen from the Reading Corner. Today we're going to be talking about patterns. You know, kids notice patterns naturally in their everyday life. You might have your child that likes to line up their cars in a certain order, or they might see a pattern at the park between the different slides and the different swings and things like that. And it's a very natural, organic thing that kids do, but it's also really important to teach them patterns so that they can see them and understand why patterns are important. Patterns are actually a stepping stone to more difficult math strategies such as counting, problem solving. So we try to introduce it really easy early on. This is one of the activities that we have. I try to use colors as much as possible in our patterns. So now we're working with color recognition and we're working with our patterns. I tend to just start with colored dots. So I might say red, blue, orange. Again, with any activity, the more you can give hands-on manipulatives to your child, the better. So instead of using an activity like this, you can use cars or blocks or cereal and things like that. The reason we always have these activities is because unfortunately, we don't always have snap cubes and counting bears and all these really great things to manipulate into patterns. So to be able to give you something that you can use that's quick, you can cut it up and really use it with your child and teach them the patterns is why we put it in a worksheet format, even though it's really supposed to be broken up and torn apart and put on more hands-on, but it's also supposed to be just a starting point to you exploring patterns with your child in everyday situations. So a couple things that I want to make sure that are talked about when we talk about patterns is, first of all, the very first thing we're going to do is we're going to verbalize the pattern, and I kind of put a little beat to it. So I might go blue, yellow, pink. Blue, yellow, pink. So I kind of put a little jingle to it, and it helps your child kind of get that repetition of that pattern. So first, before we even get to this part, I'm just going to say, can you tell me what colors that you see in this activity? And we'll talk about the blue and the yellow and the pink. And then I'm going to say blue, yellow, pink. The first time I do this with them, I'm only going to give them the ducks that go along with the pattern that we're doing. Again, cut it up if you want to. It makes it more of an isolated activity. And so I'm only going to give them the ducks that they need. And then I'm going to eventually, as these activities go on in the curriculum, I'm going to give them all of them at the same time. Eventually, you want to teach them what type of pattern there is. So in preschool, we typically teach A, B, and ABC, ABC. And what that means is like red, yellow is an AB pattern, and red, yellow, blue is an ABC pattern. So you might want to even start just putting those letters. So for example, this is obviously an ABC pattern. Again, what you can sometimes do if this is too difficult for your child is you can go ahead and put the blue and the pink, and then just have your child add the one to it. In our instructional video, I will talk about different ways to expand on patterns, but this is just a really simple activity. Again, this is something that you can do very organically during the day. So if you've got a bowl of fruit, you can ask your child to put that fruit in order. If you're in the car and you notice that there is a blue bike and then a red bike, what bike would come next? That's a really important part about patterns, is sometimes just giving them that isolated one and say, what one do you think is going to come next? The most important thing, though, is we don't want a child to say blue, yellow, pink, blue, because that's not completing the pattern. We want them to actually complete the same pattern they see here and complete it again fully. So that's our patterns. Make sure you watch our instructional video and stay tuned for more videos.